of our exhibit launch, Alternative Galleries, which is chaired by Becky Hancock, and our panel is composed by Andrew Shaw, Camilla Cole, and Thomas Gray. We're very thankful to have them here. We've got some events house rules that I'd like you to notice. So, what is Xhibit? Exhibit is one of our most recurring shows at UAL, which was founded in a legacy show, which was founded in 1997 by college graduates Kit Hammond and Angela Robertson. It was created by students for students, and we saw it a lot this year with having curator students and building of the website led by students. The exhibition is one of the longest running exhibition opportunities at UAL. These are the students that were exhibited for 2020 and are currently being exhibited on the website, which is exhibit-2020.co.uk. The arts program at the Student Union, we have an arts program where we develop a range of events for students to provide chances to showcase your work or access new experiences and collaborate between colleges. You can find current calls on that program through the link on the screen. We've been working with a wide range of external partners, and we're hoping with the new year to come that there'll be a variety of different calls coming the way, especially in-person events, hopefully. Another legacy project that we have is Made in the Arts London. So each year, students from UAL get selected as part of a mentorship scheme and have their artwork sold on the Made in the Arts London shop. And this is how you can contact us through our website, our Facebook. Unfortunately, in person is still not accessible as our head office is still closed. But I'm sure we'll be able to do that in person in the new term. That's everything for me, and I would like to hand over to Becky Hancock, who's a wonderful chair.
Nice. Hi, I'm Becky, a curator from Xhibit and a 2020 graduate from Camberwell. I'm really looking forward to introducing this event today and inviting the opportunity for conversation to challenge the relationship between emerging artists and the gallery space. We have 3 established projects with us today who are going to give us their personal perspective and insight into how they work outside the traditional gallery institution and find those very important alternatives. I'll just give you a very short introduction for context and then pass on over to our first speaker. Today we have Tom from Brockley Gardens, who have transformed a garage space in South London and exhibit emerging artists regularly. We have Andrew from Convenience Gallery, who is a community-focused arts organisation bringing art into the public space, and Camilla, the founder of Hyper Studios, an initiative aiming to regenerate the high street, matching creatives with empty spaces. So we're going to have a presentation by each speaker, and then there will be time at the end for questions and discussions. So please feel free to write in the chat or wait till then, and we will make sure to have them answered. We would love this to be interactive, as this is a great opportunity for any speculation into what happens after you've graduated and what projects are out there for emerging artists. So firstly, I'd like to introduce Andrew from Convenience Gallery.
Hi, so my name's Andy, and I am the co-founder, co-director, co-curator of Convenience Gallery, which is an arts organisation based in Birkenhead, which is just outside of Liverpool in Merseyside. So we're a contemporary and community arts gallery, and the idea behind it is to focus on creating opportunities for local residents and the public to engage and participate with art outside of normalised context, whilst also creating plenty of freelance opportunities for artists in the local area. So we're doing this by commissioning or bringing in exhibitions, workshops, talks, and all of our programme into community and public access points, which is primarily now within a space called the Bloom Building. So the Bloom Building is a space that was created by the Open Door charity, which are like a leading mental health charity within our area. And the idea behind the space is to reimagine how mental health support and arts and culture can sit alongside one another. So our role in that is the arts and culture, and then you might go out into our space and do an exhibition, but in the other side of the building there is opportunities to access peer-to-peer mentoring support, CBT, and things like that. So why we operate in this space is because we're pretty focused on creating unique, spontaneous or confrontational sort of experiences of art. So there'll be people, not just the art audiences, that come and see our exhibitions, but also people accessing support within the space, which to us is really important, that those things sit alongside one another. So all of the work that we've done kind of in the past 2-3 years has sort of led us to the point of our new programme, which will be starting next month, called In Cahoots. And the idea behind In Cahoots is to achieve all of what I've said before, really, which is about creating accessible points to sort of take part in art or see art, which will be taking place in the Bloom Building, which is like a big community space. There's a cafe and a bar, but there's also like gigs and DJs and all sorts of things that happen at the weekends as well. So to do that within this space, we've created another like modular gallery space essentially, which we'll be using within the Cahoots programming. So that's just the branding for it. So the idea being that we'll create a modular space that can transform and change to show different exhibitions. So this is one of the shapes it goes into. It can go into a box or a rectangle, and the idea being that even though the art is directly within this sort of public community space, cafe, bar, whatever, that it can still create really focused gallery space for artists, installations and exhibitions. So yeah, where am I up to? Yeah, so I mean, originally we started at in a market stall in Birkenhead, which is on this one. So very similar to Bloom Building in that it created sort of confrontational or sort of unexpected engagement with art. So we were sat next to a tattoo shop, a jeweller's, a cafe, and a hairdresser's, and every day we were having conversations with people about art and sort of the things that they want to see in the area, which is a really important thing for all the work that we do, is that the community has an input into what we show. So our programming is often dictated by open conversation or an open call, or through sort of freelance opportunities to take part as like a workshop leader or running a talk, and then building on those relationships and bringing them into the programming. So these are just some more pictures of things from when we were at the market. So we ran a series of workshops and collaboration. So that's another really important part of the work that we do, is collaborating with other spaces in the area. So we've worked so far with a space called Make, which is like an art studio, with the Open Eye Gallery, which is a photography gallery in Liverpool. So they do something called the Look Biennials, which we did with them in 2019, showcasing Dinh Lee. And then obviously things like the Open Door charity, which is where we are now, trying to create new projects and opportunities to sort of create opportunities for underrepresented parts of the community. So we're currently running projects with them on personality disorder. We're also doing a project exploring into family conflict and violence, not violence, into family conflict resolution support. And yeah, I've just lost my train of thought, sorry. Yeah, and then also just like wider workshop programming with younger people in the area. So we're currently doing a street art project with a group of 14 to 18-year-olds, creating a point for them to sort of put themselves into their community and create new art. Yeah, sort of flick through them very quickly. These are just more examples of things. So we've done performances within our space. We do sort of more traditional exhibitions, still creating these environments that means that the work can be made accessible. we work with a lot of freelance artists in the area. So something that's been really important since we started was that we wanted to be able to pay artists and pay them properly for what they're doing and coming in. So we've been working towards like the AN fair pay as sort of like a start point. And we're working now, I think, with sort of 25 to 30 artists in the area, being able to pay them for different opportunities and continuing to bring them into doing the work that we're doing, which was from the open party last year from an artist. And then we're also looking at digital residencies. Obviously, the last year sort of changed the way we interact with art and looking into the online world. And it's not something that we want to solely focus on, but it's something that we have got money to be able to commission some artists to do some digital residencies later in the year. But we don't want these to just exist online either. So we've bought some like interesting projectors to be able to take the work out into the local area. And again, create sort of surprising spaces of which the art can be engaged with. And yeah, that's kind of the gallery. I feel like I've rushed through that. Well, is there anything else you'd sort of like me to talk about with it, or?
That was great, thank you. I think we'll leave questions until everyone's kind of done a presentation.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, we'll definitely ask you more, but yeah. Thank you very much, Andrew. Secondly, I'd like to introduce Camilla from Hyper.
Hi, everybody. Just going to share my screen. I want to do a whistle-stop tour as how I got to Hyper Studios in the first place. I've been in the gallery art world since a long, long time ago, since 2007. And I used to work for basically only high net worth individuals. And it's very easy to do art in any spaces you want when you've got a huge amount of money. But then what happened is, this is the sort of stuff we used to do. I used to commission these crazy artworks. This is like a cosmic ray detector. That's a V2 rocket. But then the financial crash happened, you know. So then we had to really start about different ways of showing work. I started working for a private art collection. So what we did basically was look after this guy's assets and build up the value of it. So my past experience is like the gallery model, right? Very purely the gallery model. But what I was realizing is that the gallery model has got its really big flaws. So when I went out into the world by myself, I was like, I don't have the money. The world is changing. There's a financial dip. Galleries are closing left, right, and center, like thousands a year all over the world. And it's because of rent, right? Predominantly, it's rent, salaries, art fairs, transport. All this stuff is insanely expensive. This is a very old list, but you can see these are just the names of some of these amazing spaces that have just closed. So I came up with a model for Cold Projects. It was like this independent platform where I would show emerging art practitioners, but with a sort of art contemporary gallery model style, but no representation. You know, I didn't want to represent anybody because I didn't feel like it did people justice. Totally changed the commission structure from 50-50 to 80-20. Introduced clients to the artists, which is quite rare. Normally galleries keep them apart. And then did shows in really, really random spaces. So the first one I did was this in Ed Fornielis's flat. So literally got a bunch of artists I love, like Raphael Zajko, Joey Holder, and just put their stuff up on the walls in a flat. It was really, really great. Loads of people came, did not expect it. It was a flat in Soho, so maybe that was easier. And then other strategies that I used were things like residencies, and then piggybacking as a curator on other galleries. So this was a show I did at Gallery 46. It's like an all-female show. So there was lots of different strategies I was employing. And this is one I actually hired, like right by Freeze, which is a strategy to get the collectors to come in. It worked, which was quite amazing. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. Another show in Vienna. I actually got that by getting a tattoo of the gallery's logo on my ankle. So lots of different ways of doing it. And then the pandemic hit and I did Visual Tonic and I basically just showed video works. And it was like, you know, very famous artists agreed to partake in it, from Lawrence Abu Hamdan to Rachel McLean. And they just, you know, every week I did it in collaboration with the Kensal Rise Cinema, the Lexi. And the idea was to reveal these artists to a film viewing audience and to get, you know, vice versa, open up new industries, cross-disciplinary avenues. These are just a few of the examples. And then I did Ritual for a New Regime. And again, it was in the pandemic. So what we did, you obviously couldn't get people to come along. We couldn't go inside. So we did it in a car park of a military of defense place in Holloway. We got the artists, did all the installs, everything in one day. We recorded everything on a gimbal and then had a private view at 6 p.m, which was recorded in advance. So it felt very much like it was live. It felt very much like a real show, but no one was there apart from a couple of journalists, and we were very, 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 very far apart from each other. So it's just a few of the examples that we did. Yeah, Sol Bailey Barker, obviously, and then you got Canada Powell Williams, like super great artists, just willing to do anything they possibly could to get showing art again. The last show I did at Coal Projects was Earth Eaters, which is an ecological exhibition, again, collaborating with another gallery. And then basically I realized after 2 years of working by myself that I've seen different ways that galleries function, and I did not know how they did. And I started to work out how they did it. And I was like, okay, there's something to do here about being a charity. There's something to do here about being a representative of somebody. So I developed Hyper Studios. And basically what it does is that we verify art to property people, and we get property people to like artists. And so it's about basically being a diplomat, as an ambassador for both to collaborate. So this is not about me curating shows. I don't have any say in anything. The idea is just to be a matchmaker. So first one we did was in Eastbourne. We got an empty shop. You know, this is during COVID, so it's pandemic proof. We put Molly in there, who was from Camberwell, and I think, Becky, you interviewed her. That was amazing. And Molly was amazing. She sold like 8 pieces when she was in there, because it's a shop. People go in there and ask her how much it is. You know, she got like 3 shows at the back of it and like crazy stuff. But we do a mentorship program with everybody that we put into these places. And the person that selects them is often a curator from a museum in a local area. So it's a good way of creating these networks wherever you go. We see ourselves as sort of a facilitator. So yeah, so the place benefits, the artist benefits in ways that you can't even possibly realize. And then we had Rosa, Johan, Udo. We have this site in, I'll just move to here quickly. This site in Islington, which was amazing. We had 100 applications in 7 days. And, you know, London artists are so great and we just don't have enough space for them. And it was just heartbreaking to be like, we need more spaces. But she was preparing for a show at Focal Point Gallery. So we gave her this exhibition space. We teamed her up with, she was selected by the Tate Modern curator for performance, Catherine Wood, who kindly helped us out. And we record all the events. It's all about public engagement again. And, you know, we've got a huge amount of sites coming up. We're now starting to work with councils. So we're asking them to use their assets and put maybe cultural organizations that don't have a home into these empty buildings. The idea is just to sort of, you know, it's giving space for free. This is our bottom line. We will never ever charge for it. And then, yeah, we've got some other sites lined up, such as we're doing a series of residencies in Becontree and Dagenham. And we've potentially got a few shopping centres coming up, because shopping centres are dead to the world now. And also a leisure centre. So there's like some bigger things happening, like office blocks and stuff too. But I guess that's sort of me.
Amazing, lovely, thank you. Okay, and then lastly, we'll have our last presentation from Tom from Brockley Garden.
Okay, just need to share my content. One sec. God, that's a hard act to follow. Anyway, this is Brockley Gardens. This is just an image of a nice Brockley garden. We are a little garage space based in Southeast London in Brockley. We run a little gallery in a garage, and it's at the moment run by myself and Billy Crosby. We both graduated from Camberwell Fine Art Painting in 2016 and have practicing art still, but we've always wanted to run a space. So originally, one sec actually, sorry. Okay. So the gallery space originally started in May 2019, and there were 5 members. One woman was using this garage as her studio. She was a tenant in the house behind, and we just got chatting in the pub one time about wanting to run a space and do things. And so we ran a program of events from May 2019 to September, and then myself and Billy carried on running it afterwards. I suppose me and Billy have got a really nice relationship, and we work well together. I would say that's a really important thing if you want to do a project space with anyone together as a group. you got to be comfortable with disagreeing. Anyway, as you can see on this image, there's quite a lot of people around, so there's a lot of neighbours, and that's maybe another thing I would always suggest. I was really panicky that the neighbours were going to shut us down because they didn't really like it. I mean, that was totally irrational, but I made an adamant effort to like invite everyone from the neighbourhood every single time we hold a private view. So that was and that was a really nice thing. And now the neighbours are really friendly. Actually, a couple of the neighbours have bought some works from us, so that's been really nice. This is an exhibition that was in July 2019 by a painter called Francesca Mollett. She graduated from the RCA, I think last year, so she had a horrid graduation year as well. But this was in 2019, and she was the third show that we put on, I believe, third or fourth. I can't quite remember. But she's a painter. But when she got into the space, she realised that she may have wanted to like try and make a painting on the floor, which is quite an odd thing to kind of walk into and experience, like walking on the painting. But it was really nice, and we basically had no. I mean, we wanted anyone to do what they wanted to do. We've got like zero funding, but you can just experiment. And then she made these paintings in like installed them on the back wall. So I'm going to jump a little bit because I haven't got. We've got loads of shows that we've done. This was a show in December 2019 called Painters Posting Paintings, which was organised by an artist based in Manchester called Joseph O'Rourke. He was a John Moores Prize winner in 2018, and that's where me and Billy met him when we went to the prize. And he basically wanted to have this exhibition where he could send artworks in the post to other artists. So he would start the process off, or he would send 10 pieces of paper to this artist, and then they would work on it, then they would send it to someone else, and so on and so forth. So each artist responded to it, and the exhibition was held in Manchester and in Edinburgh, and we decided to host it in London. So that was quite nice because we have had a lot of London-based artists, and we wanted to basically exhibit. I mean, it's just a bit more interesting for us to have artists from up and down the country. Anyway, another minor thing, which is probably irrelevant now, but on this show we decided to use it's all paper, and we decided to use blue tack on the brick wall, which doesn't work. So that was a total winging it. Anyway, to jump to the next one, we've the next show after that. This was just pre-first lockdown. It was Luke George, and it's he graduated in 2017, I believe, or maybe 2018 from the RCA. And we've always liked his work, so we just sent him a message, and he made this performance piece called London and the Devil, where it was about him basically going to the pub with the devil and getting really drunk. He installed in the ceiling, which you might be able to see at the top of the image, he installed really, really badly done sculptures of, they're not that badly done, but they're not quality, of his favourite pubs in London. So there they've got the Hermit's Cave in Camberwell, and he basically made it look like the night sky or stars, and he was pointing at the stars and they were pubs. At the end of that, he basically involved me, and we had to drive off and drive to the pub, which was quite a nerve-wracking experience because I was really worried my car was going to break down. Fortunately, it didn't. But that, like, I mean, he's the only performance that we've done at the moment. Performances basically are maybe not as easy to hold at the moment, but yeah. So this is a friend and an artist, Rainers Lismanis, who had just the pre-lockdown show, and he. Oh, sorry, now I've gone back. He basically put a file cabinet in the middle of the garage, and then put excess offcuts from other works, and then painted the back wall green. So actually, it turned out to be a very, very interesting exhibition because this is the moment that lockdown started. And then he basically asked a lot of artists to involve themselves and manipulate the green screen, and so it existed a lot on Instagram. So that was quite nice. So we all got involved, and like lots of friends and other artists that he approached to do our own image on the back wall. So that was quite nice. Another thing about Rainers, he is also a very, very good photographer, and he documents all of our shows. So if always a good piece of advice, maybe this is a bit basic, but I mean, he's a very good friend as well, and it's nice having that's a kind of asset, because I guess most of these things are going to be seen online, whether on your phone or your computer. So documentation is incredibly vital, I guess, and Rainis does a really good job of all the photographs. So then we're now on to September 2020, and we I mean, during lockdown we took a total break and didn't do anything. So this was the first show that we had, and this by an artist called Sean New Love Drew, who graduated from Camberwell in 2019 on the painting course. This was quite a powerful show, and they are mirrors from shoe shops, and then these, I think it was 40 bottles which she's put like kind of washing detergent or bleach or any kind of cleaning products, and then she huffed into them as well. And that was a really exciting show. And at this point we decided to put shows on for a bit longer. So after lockdown we decided that we were going to, we were originally hosting shows maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and so then we decided to host shows for about 5 weeks, which was a lot better. And because basically we did that, we got review and art review, because I think someone posted about it on Instagram. This writer Oliver Bassiano saw it, and then he basically wanted to see it. So if we held it on for 2 weeks, it probably wouldn't have ever been seen by him, and this wouldn't have happened. So that was really nice, and it's a really humbling and like nice text, and it was to be honest quite exciting for us that happened. And anyway, the penultimate show that we got here is an artist called Neil Rumming, who is actually as well, additionally, he is a tutor on the Camberwell painting course. So it was quite nice from having Sian, who was a recent graduate in 2018. The next show after that was Neil, who was her tutor, and has actually been my tutor as well, and met many other students. And it was really nice having that, because of course in college there's that kind of hierarchy of a student-tutor relationship, and it was quite nice, not breaking it down at all by doing this, but just actually not really acknowledging it, or like realizing it's just rubbish. So it was really fun putting on his show. That's the hay bale that he painted with an image from an Otto Dix etching made about World War One. That might not be entirely correct, but I mean it's been since December since I talked about it. But I mean everything that we got is on our website as well, so please feel free to have a look. And finally, we got our show on at the moment, which is an artist who's based in Kingston, New York. He's called Simon Toski. Billy, actually my garage partner, studied with him when he went on Erasmus in the second year, and Simon was in the year above, and he just makes the most mental paintings. He doesn't really get shown anywhere, like no one really knows about him, but he posts on Instagram quite a lot, and he's just really into just making these weird paintings. And so we just basically took a punt and messaged him, and we got them sent over, which was a bit of a headache, but was really enjoyable. And we also decided to build new walls for the garage. So the left and right wall are totally brand new, which I have to say I've never built that many walls before. I've built a couple to like the end wall at the garage, but that was quite difficult, especially from looking back at college. I couldn't even know how to use a drill properly. So I mean, I guess I just worked on the job. I learned. But a full disclaimer, I'm also an art technician. And Billy is also an art assistant. So we're involved and around that kind of building work. Those kind of jobs happen quite often. This here is our website. It's not. I mean, it just simply lists all the shows we've had in documentation. But if you look here, where it says 2021 and 2020 with bees and caterpillars, we decided to put an archive of all the things that happen in between the shows, or all the things that like go on, like people who come to view the garage and come and want to have a chat. We basically put everything onto there. So any Zoom chat that we've had, any like whatever, it goes on. I mean, I've just got a few images here of what the garage is like, but I mean, it's very easy just to see the kind of final show. And we wanted to basically put all this stuff that we've got on our phones that is just clogging up our storage, and we wanted to put it somewhere. So it's really nice seeing what is going on in between. And as you can see there, that's an image from Rainus to show that Billy on the left there in the image manipulated, and he was in a fish, he was under the sea. I mean, this was kind of peak lockdown moment, so I think everyone was getting a little bit bored. Anyway, that is all about Brockley Gardens for the time being. It was a very brief look over what we've done, but yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free. I'll stop broadcasting.
Lovely, thank you. I've got a question for you, Tom. Why would you say artist-led spaces are particularly important for emerging artists, specifically graduates as well?
Why are they particularly important? Well, I guess we're all in the same boat the moment you graduate. I mean, maybe not. Maybe it doesn't look that way from a kind of graduating from the student side of things, but we all are. I mean, and it's like there's no financial pressure. I mean, firstly, a lot of the time with these artist project spaces, there's no funding from us. We're self-funded, so that's just how we operate. So we can't offer anyone any money, unfortunately. But we do allow basically anyone to do whatever they want, which is nice. I mean, we do choose the artists, so it's not, we don't have open calls or anything. But it's, I mean, I think what's really important about arts project spaces is that no one really told us to do this. We've just done it because out of like just really wanting to do it and just wanting to have a project space. And I guess anyone can do it with any space you want. So like Camilla was showing about the exhibition in the car park, you can make shows happen anywhere. But yeah, we're just very lucky that we got given a garage space, which is incredibly fortunate in London to actually have a space like that. We do rent that space, so it's not like a free space. But I guess advice to any students if they're looking to maybe run project spaces, because sometimes you can get quite in your own head as a new graduate, being like you have to be in the studio or whatever, and actually you can just, it's really refreshing to basically engage with other students, other artists as well doing it, because it pushes you out of whatever comfort zone you're having. So maybe that doesn't answer any of your question, but I kind of forgot the question as well.
No, yeah, that's perfect. So you also find your artists yourself. So would you like to talk us through that process? Yeah,
basically it's just anyone that we're just really into, which me and Billy just send each other posts on Instagram, and that like is about 90% of where this comes from. I mean, Simon Tosky, for example, he's got a very low following on Instagram. He basically posts each layer of a new painting almost every day. It's like almost like too obsessive, too much. But for that kind of his approach is really refreshing, because he's not hiding anything away, and the fact that his like kind of the energy for the work is there. So moreover, it's the energy that an artist brings is the thing that we go for. So like with Luca's performance, it's with Luca's performance, he kept it all hidden till the last minute, and then he had a really nice rehearsed ballad that we had no idea that was coming out, and there was strobe lights, and there was music, and it was really full on, and that was really enjoyable. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's totally about mine and Billy's personality, I guess, and with choosing. So it's quite cornered in that way. But I guess that's quite nice, and I quite like it for that.
Yeah. Andrew, I was interested in what impact you hope your organisation will have on the community by offering a mental health support alongside art projects. Like, I find that really interesting, and in general, what has the response been in general?
Yeah, I mean, since we moved to the Bloom building, we only did about 2 shows before like the pandemic happened. So we didn't get to do like an enormous amount of sort of public facing work before that happened. But already, like, we've been managing to run like art workshops and programs for like a young age group, like I mentioned in the presentation, which is called Horizons. And that's had like quite a big effect. So we've had like consistently like sort of around probably 10 across all of them for about the last 12 weeks maybe. it's just very much like a space that they can come to engage with local contemporary artists. So we try and bring in people from the local area to come and lead those sessions and sort of share those skills and show people pathways into art, but also given that sort of supportive environment, it's often the case that we'll have people having conversations about their own mental health and supporting each other, which is like super positive. But then also just having these sort of accessible points, as it were, so whether that was the Becky Market originally or in the Bloom Building or out in the community. I think we often get a lot of people that don't go to art galleries talking to us about sort of art as a hobby and the things that they do already, and actually they find themselves coming back and really engaging with it. And our main thing is just trying to sort of establish a community. So this evening we've got all of the artists that are going to be involved in our year's programme all come into the space, and we're going to have a bit of like a social with them, and just trying to sort of create that sense of community within this space and make sure that there is actually opportunities regularly that people can come to, really. And then obviously with the mental health support, just making sure they know that it's there and it's accessible. And then with the Open Door charity, most of their services are immediate access and free access, and their support programme, that's Bizarre Electric Islands, have like a huge impact. And I think they're now like the leading provider or something in the Northwest. So, yeah.
So how did you carry that on through lockdown? Were you running online events?
So we did some like online projects, just tried to get people involved, like little tasks, like getting people to balance something on the head and send us a picture, and just trying to keep them engaged. But in about March this year, we were able to run the first of our workshops as a support group in person. So obviously with like limited capacity, but it meant that we were able to then bring people back into a physical space and get them engaged with art and support.
Nice. So that's, I suppose, in a similar kind of sense of trying to bring in art into the public space that Camilla's doing with Hyper Studios. And I was wondering, Camilla, on how you see the project evolving in the upcoming years post-COVID, with more stores bound to close. Are you planning on taking over the streets?
Actually, really funny that you asked. So we, alongside the sort of individual units, which are all sort of our case studies per se, sort of impact research, like who does come down to shops now, etc., and how can you reuse it? We are teaming up with some architects called the RCKA. And basically the idea is, like, with these new buildings that are basically department stores or Oxford Street things, I've got basically a case study model. So at the moment we host individual artists, but what I'm hoping to do is host organizations. So the idea is that we do a strip back of the building, and then we have like a performance space. And the idea then is that all those clubs that close down in, like, you know, Elephant and Castle, whatever, we can say, right, cool, you can come in, we'll incubate you, you can have the space for free, but, you know, you just generate your own income. And the idea is to sort of facilitate that growth. And but by doing so, you generate footfall, and that's what the surviving businesses need. So we are actually looking for funding to develop this with GLA, and we're sort of like preliminary stages of big buildings. Like I said, there's a shopping centre and there's 40,000 square foot of office space, and I can't say exactly where it is, but the idea is to basically have free studio space for up to 5 years, potentially 300 artists. For like, it'd be amazing. But yeah, I mean, it's all going pretty quickly. We only started in February. So yeah, give me a chance. I'll get a few people on board and we can do it bigger and better.
How will people keep on track with what you're doing?
I think what's really interesting, what Thomas said, and obviously Andrew as well, I think I'm a bit of an Instagram whore, if I'm honest with you. I think it's such a useful tool for the arts, because it's all image based. And so basically the opportunities that we put out, it's all on socials. So, and also the website as well. We've got like an available sites section, occupied sites. So in the future, what we really want to do is sort of an Airbnb platform where artists can find empty buildings and they can just do it themselves. But that's probably not for many, many years.
Okay, nice. So we also have a question from Beatrice. I'm wondering if this was specific to Tom, because I think it was sent then. But wondering if there was a way for her to submit work to be exhibited in any of the galleries. Do you accept submissions, and how does that work?
Yeah, I guess, we do accept submissions. I would just say send it to our email, and we can just send maybe what you want to do, and we'll get back to you. We don't do open calls or anything, but we do accept submissions. Yeah.
How would they
Yeah.
send their emails?
Oh, so that would be on the website, so broccoliGardens.com, and just like halfway down I think it's broccoliGardensGallery@gmail.com. You know when you get an email that you get at the beginning, and you're like, man, I don't want to have that email anymore, but whatever, you're like, you got to stick with it. It's kind of the same thing with the name. I like the name, but that's why we changed on Instagram to Broccoli Jardinage, just to, I don't know, change it up a little bit. Anyway, sorry.
I love your name.
Yeah, it's all right. It's actually quite nice. Yeah.
Questions for the speakers.
Can we say them out loud?
Yes, of course. Please do.
Okay. Well, firstly, how do you spell broccoli jardin?
So if you're going on the website, this is also like, maybe it's quite slightly confusing, which is quite good, which I quite like how it's confusing, like anyway. But Broccoli Gardens is just like broccoli, like the place, so it's BROCKLEY gardens.com.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then on Instagram it's broccoli jardinage, so it's like spelt like the vegetable, which I'm going to spell it wrong now, because I can't now. I feel like my dyslexia I can't remember whether it's 2 C's or 1 C.
That's okay. It's 2. I found you now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
Well, I'm Maria, and I'm here with Emilu, and we are kind of starting to plan what we hope is going to be our first exhibition ever. And I think if you guys let us, we'll like kind of hoard you with questions, but not on here, like I'll ask for contact or whatever. But I really wanted to know, how in advance do you plan events, and how in advance do you let the artists know what space they're going to be having, what possibilities they have to use it with, and how does this change with, if you're working with a small project space with emerging artists versus working with, like, I don't know, more high profile people? Does how the planning in advance change? I don't know who this question is directed to, by the way.
I'll jump in if you want. When we first started the convenience of the Beckhead market, we did about like 2 weeks, because we only had like 6 weeks to have the space for free. So we literally just contacted people and said, can you come in and do it? And then when we did our first exhibition with like a collaborator, so the Open Eye Gallery, that was about 6 months that we worked with them on the show. And then like we did most of our work voluntary and stuff for the first 2 years. So again, it was like quite a quick turnaround. It might be a month or 2 months before a show. But now with this program, and I think the pandemic kind of allowed us the time, but we've sort of planned 6 months in advance for everyone's shows, which includes like the emerging artists and new people that haven't even had a show before or haven't had a solo show.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tom, how long do you?
Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't know if Camilla wanted to go. It kind of depends on sometimes the work. So for Sean's show, that happened in September 2020, and that was just coming out of lockdown. We almost like asked her about a month before, and just like she was like, "Yeah, I've got the work. It's all good. We can just do it." But then there's some people. So for example, the show after Neil Rumming, well, he was actually meant to be exhibiting in April 2020. Obviously, that didn't happen. And then we'd actually been speaking to him for about a year before that. So like it's dependent on the artist, but Neil also like just Neil wanted time to it, so it was quite good because he went through quite a few different shows. But I mean normally we plan our we've got about a year's worth of planning now that we've got for the garage. But also we have maybe 2 shows every not term, every like quarterly. So like I guess 2 shows in autumn. If lockdown isn't happening again, it might be maybe 2 or 1 shows in winter, or like so on and so forth. So I mean it gives us time to plan. At the beginning of the project, we were doing 1 show every 3 weeks, which was just crazy, and it's like it made us feel totally unsustainable, and I was just getting exhausted, and that's a good way of basically not wanting to do it anymore. So like slowing it down really made you like really enjoy it. And now we give 2 weeks for the install. Not that anyone needs 2 weeks for a small room, but you can, like, the artists can come and have a key, they can come back and they can come and chat, like we can chat and we can go to the pub afterwards because there's a pub down the road, which is nice. So we just like to make it quite an intimate install. So I guess maybe I've not really answered your question, but maybe like 3 to 6 months, depending on if there's a gap as well. Like sometimes someone's got the work there, we'll just message them being like, do you want to do the show? And they're like, yeah. And it's just ready to go.
Oh, okay. I see. Also, oh, I forgot my question. Oh no, yeah. So I don't know, but do people come to see the shows in the garage every day?
So no, we have it open by appointment because, quite frankly,
of course,
I do not want to sit there like on the side of the street for like 8 hours at a time. And actually it's better because then everyone can just like come whenever they want to, and it's nice. Actually, if you do come to this show, we've got free gifts from the artist. He's I guess I can say it because it's about to end on Sunday, but he also sent like hats and t-shirts. What's it, like a snapback t-shirt, a snap cap? What? I sound old. But he made them himself, and he just sent them along with the paintings. So they're like these kind of New York hats that are just in the middle of Southeast London. They're really nice. So if you want to come, that's a good incentive. That's actually really nice. The neighbours really liked it. A lot of the people that we've never talked to before then came by and were like, yeah, I love your t-shirt, love your hat, thanks. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. Anyway, sorry.
Are you open till Sunday, did you say?
Yeah, open till Sunday.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No problem.
Marjan, do you have any questions?
Oh, hello. I was just wondering, in general, what advice everyone would give to like very young or emerging curators or artists who would really love to create spaces but just have no idea on how to begin or how to find other collaborators and things like that.
I'll take that one. My biggest piece of advice to you is just to do it in any capacity, on any scale, at any time, like right now. Because even do it small, ask your local cafe, put something up on the wall, lose the fear of being vulnerable, of being creative. I mean, I worked for other people in galleries for years and years and years, never had the balls to do my own show, spent $5,000 on a university course doing curating at Goldsmiths and quit because they said I'd never make any money out of it. I think they did give me the confidence to do shows. And that's what that is for. But you can do it anyway. Just do shows now. is the only thing I'd say.
I'd say that is quite good advice, to be fair. I think the main thing is just the worry of the whole planning process. But as soon as you do it,
it's so easy. You just need to practice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from coming out of college, I mean, there's still this kind of criteria of like ticking boxes, and then or like coming shooters saying, have you done this work? Maybe that doesn't happen quite so much, but a little bit of that, and then there's just no one telling you to do anything afterwards, and then it's just like you just got to make it happen, whatever it is. Just like if you've got to build that wall, you got to learn how to build that wall. Or if you want to like get that work, you got to go rent a van or whatever. Yeah, it's just a case of doing it like Camilla said. And then it just gets easier. It's like really daunting at the beginning, and then it just gets easier because you get used to it, and then it's just the standard.
Start to enjoy the logistics of it all.
Yeah, maybe.
I love it. It's my favorite thing. I
Right.
love it.
B has just asked, how do you go about funding? And I was wondering, Andrew, how do you specifically go about funding?
Oh, it's hard. Yeah, different ways really. Depends on the project. But at the minute, most of our things are funded by projects. So we've got our core programming, which is like 8 exhibitions and 6 sort of public programming things, and that's funded by the National Lottery and a local thing called Kindred, which is about like social investment. And then a lot of our other projects through collaboration, so we'll like pair up with other organisations and apply for funding collectively. So whether that's the Open Door charity or another organisation, depending on the project, and then yeah, just applying and taking the time. It is really hard, but yeah, I think I'm just like with funding, I guess just like thinking about who your audience is and who the project benefits, and then using that as a starting point to getting started on it. Like we've still not done an Arts Council one, we're just afraid of it. So yeah, I'd say that.
Can I plug something in, which is not basically a traditional funding method, but we at the garage in at the end of August, we're going to have a Brockley Gardens garden party, hopefully, where we're going to have a raffle in our local pub, which would be really nice. And I mean, I'm probably saying this maybe a bit too early because like because we've not actually decided we're doing it, but that would be a nice idea where we can like raffle things off. So that is in hopefully in the pipeline. That's not to do with funding, and like the idea of doing an application for funding sounds scary. So yeah.
Camilla, is there anything you'd like to say to that?
Funding. Okay, so Coal Projects was funded by basically what I did is I hired out my services in the commercial art world to people to live, and then I did my curating on the side and sold work. So everybody has like this sort of Batman dynamic in the arts industry, and they never talk about the day job. But I was a curatorial assistant for Ben Vickers from the Serpentine. I did like collecting work, exhibition work, like you said, it's like a gallery technician. It's like you do that during the day and then you do your thing that you love in your spare time. Hypho Studios, we get paid by the landlords and by councils. So yeah.
Okay, nice. Marjan, do you have anything else you wanted to ask?
I was just thinking as well, everyone has you're all doing different spaces, but everyone has a very distinct voice within the shows you're producing and working on. And another one for young curators, what would you say helped you find that voice that you really specifically center your shows or your galleries around?
I'm going to go first quick. My thing was, I think being an individual practitioner means that you can be really responsive to stuff that happens in the news immediately. So like you don't have to wait 6 months to curate a show, you can do it next week, which means it's really interesting. So it might be about sort of like feminist issues or ecological issues, like a soil show. But like my thing is about the hook, get the hook and then get some theory and then get some good looking artists, and that's that.
In terms of having a distinct voice, I mean, I feel like we're just starting to work out still what's going on. Lockdown was really helpful because obviously it's not helpful, but it was helpful in terms of like thinking selfishly about that process. But it was quite nice because we could all take that step back and go, you do not have to do it in any way that maybe someone is, or like you feel like you're forced to doing it. And when I realized that, maybe Billy realized that already, but when I realized that, it was like, right, okay, cool, like take a step back. But our voices come from just basically our constant dialogue that me and Billy have together, and are constantly like pushing and pulling with each other. And in kind of direct contrast with that, I would be quite scared of doing a project space on my own, because like in kind of contrast to, I mean, like it's all to do with like personalities, isn't it? But I mean, I almost need someone to go, yeah, that's good, or no, that's not good. Like do you know what I mean? But I guess with more experience, like Camilla, there's anyway, I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andrew, if you got.
I was just going to say, mine's pretty similar to that. Really, is Broccoli Garden. Like I work with Ryan most days, and like we try and open the conversation up. We try to go and see as many art exhibitions as possible, and just like scour Instagram and just think about that really, and think about the work in space, just because it is an unusual space. So often the work is kind of dictated by, well, not dictated by, but is influenced by the space that we have available, and like thinking about what work is sort of best suited to the space that we've got as well. But, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been ridiculously inspiring, and I can't wait to curate my next exhibition.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, we've got time for one more question, so please go for it.
Oh, thank you so much. I was just wondering, is there a particularly effective way in which I can submit work? Have you got any advice, any specific thing, just anything on any level that you want to tell me, young artists?
Yeah, I mean, we get quite a lot of submissions, and what I would always say is a good thing, if you want to come and get to know a space, like come to the space, chat to us, have a Discord. I mean, I've made the mistake myself. I've done it so many times when I was a bit younger. I would just send an email out to someone like with 100 points, being like I think I did it where about I did it for a dissertation, and I emailed an artist with 100 points, and they never got back to me, and I was like, why did that happen? But actually, I mean, it's just about like getting to know the space, or getting to know the people that are there, and that's the most important thing. So actually everyone, I mean, we really respond to when people just come down and have a chat and whatever. Instead of like just a cold face email being like, we want to do this in your space. I mean, it's like put off that.
And speaking of that, I think something that's really crucial is coming from the curatorial side, and like having gone to University of Ed, like curators. I think that everyone in their art practice has you're a fit, and I think you need to find the fit with your curator or gallery. And I think, like you said, just sending out blanket emails will not work. You have to figure out if their research is similar to yours, they have a similar vision as yours. Like, you know, if you're a queer femme artist, go for a queer femme curator, and you have much, much, much more luck than just randomly fishing.
Thank you so much.
Lovely. Okay, well, we are gonna have to stop there. But okay, everyone, where can we watch the recording in the future? B, where will the recording be?
So the recording is going to be on the Arts SU website, and I just wanted to put in the chat. I'm going to put the link for the exhibit website if anyone's interested in seeing our current artists. The website live, and sorry, I'm just going to post that in. I wanted to send out a big thank you to our speakers. It's been super inspiring. And if for students who are still here, you've got the details, you've got the advice, make use of it.
Thanks for having me, Os.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a lovely evening, everyone.
Ciao.
Thank you,
Nice.
everyone. We will bombard you with questions at some point.
But not a cold email.
No,
Just like,
no.
yeah, like, whoa. Yeah, no.